Let's get into the paper review now, see what the headlines are across Nigeria. And I have with me in the studio my regulars to make sense of the headlines. Shijibumi Adebi Bennett is here, as well as Dr. Dayo Kayode. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
And happy International Women's Day.
Are you affiliated to any woman?
Well, I have a mother, and I have a wife, and I have daughters, so one way or the other. And I have aunties, and and so on. All right, well, let's get into the business of the day now. We'll start with Business Day. Business Day says Nigeria can save 3.7 million naira by going inefficient MDAs. All right, Nigeria can save 3.7 trillion naira by gutting inefficient MDAs. That is what the Business Day has said. Then Blueprint newspaper is next. Blueprint says NNPC didn't remit 46 billion naira into, or 46 trillion naira into Federation account. That was 2016 audit report. NNPC didn't remit 4 trillion, it's 4 trillion naira into Federation account. Some spent on subsidy, pipeline repairs, and product losses. NNPC is trying to, bring explanations there. Senate summons permanent secretary over misappropriated 2 billion naira by Solid Minerals Ministry. Serap seeks details of 25 billion naira CBN overdraft loans to the federal government. Okay, all that on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. Daily Times is next. Daily Times says banks woo customers over incentive policy on diaspora remittances. Banks woo customers over incentive policy on diaspora remittances. You recall that the CBN is starting their Naira for dollar policy. So for every dollar you send into Nigeria, you get 5 Naira on every dollar. It's really a great incentive from the comments we're hearing so far. All right, that's Daily Times. Daily Trust is next now. Daily Trust says, despite clocking 60, Accountant General, FRSC boss still in office. Overstay contradicts civil service rules. There's nothing wrong, Labour Minister is explaining there. Okay, that's a Daily Trust. We might look at this as we get along. Then Leadership newspaper is next. Leadership says Nguta's death signals unexpected changes in Supreme Court. Justice Nguta's death signals unexpected changes in Supreme Court. Justice Odili to become second in the hierarchy as Justice Vivo retires March 22nd. All right. It was sad to hear the passing of Justice Sylvester Nguta recently. All right. That's the Leadership. National Economy is next. National Economy says federal government's dilemma on subsidy persists as oil price hits $70 per barrel. Federal government's dilemma on subsidy persists as oil price hits $70 per barrel. Okay, that's National Economy. News Direct is next now. News Direct says on attack, we won't close Kaduna Airport. FAAN MD is saying this, and assures of safety at all airports. And we have Business AM that says COVID-19 pressure holds Nigeria remittance inflows by the jugular. All right, that's Business AM. Okay, now let's talk about some of these issues. Okay, let's look at the story on the front page of the News Direct. News Direct says, attack, we won't close Kaduna. Okay, we won't close Kaduna Airport, as a FAAN MD saying that assures of safety at all airports. Okay, I wonder how this comes to you. The point there is, closing airports, of course, there are implications to shutting down all of those. We saw all that during the lockdown, the COVID-19 lockdown. But right now, we're talking about safety now, not even the pandemic. FAAN is saying we won't close the airports. How safe will the people be? People are becoming a little concerned about their safety, even at airports.
I think it's a good decision not to close.
Okay.
It's not. It's something even inexplicable if we are pondering on closing airports. That means we're surrendering to the criminals. And what the government should be doing more is security of the airports. So in every country, the airport is the gateway to any country. And as it is the gateway to the country when we talk about international airports, so it is the gateway to the states when we talk about local airports. So if we look at it from that perspective, then the first thing we should be considering as a serious nation is what is the impression of our visitors. You go to international airports in the world, it's like the safest place to be. And sometimes even when people want to find a means to get out of the country, maybe for asylum or something, they know that by the time they get to the airport within so time, they're off.
Yeah.
So that's let me use the adjective of like the sanctity of the airport. So when you now do not secure that very important institution or area the way you're supposed to, that is when you are becoming an unserious government. That is when we get this kind of headlines. So if Boko Haram is saying no to Western education, and we are still looking at how we can go about that, don't forget there's so many schools in the Northeast and even in the Northwest now closed down. So in a way, they have really gained traction and are winning the war of no to Western education. Then the bandits are now saying you cannot fly by air because the road where we kidnap you, you guys have an alternative of using the air. So we don't want you to go by air. So that means gradually we are losing it as a people and as a nation. And I don't think we should get to that, that level.
Dr. Kayode, the issue of the airports, especially Kaduna Airport, that people are becoming a little concerned about safety and all of that. But FAAN is trying to assure everyone that we have everything under control. But we know that FAAN is not the security agent or agency, if I have to put it that way. What kind of concerted efforts should we be looking at now for people to feel safe? Because the feeling of safety is even paramount.
Yes. Number one, Kaduna Airport. Is it an international airport? No. But we need to look at it now holistically because of the security factor there. Now, the question that comes to anybody's mind is, what are the international best practices and procedure for you to say, yes, this airport is secured? Like he said, any airport, whether local airport or international airport, should serve as a safe haven for anybody that wants security. It's just like an embassy. Because there you have different nationals at all those airports, whether local or international. Because even those coming from international will still have to pass through local to get to where they are getting to within the confines of the country they are. So the question now is, to what extent are our airports safe in this country? That is the big question that the FAAN MD needs to answer for us to be able to say, okay, whether we should close our airport or not. It's not about whether the bandits are winning the war or they are not winning the war. It is about, one, the security of the people first. Because the Constitution stipulates that the major function of any president is to secure his citizens.
Government, not just the president.
Because he's the head of government.
The president's just one.
I will always mention the president because he's the head of government, either he likes it or not. When I want to mention that of state now, if it is here, I will talk about Sanwo-Olu. In Ekiti, I will talk about Kayode Fayemi. All right? Now, to what extent are our airports safe? What are the necessary instruments, infrastructure, gadgets that are there as it concerns safety? Do we have perimeter fencing to prevent hoodlums from entry? All right? Is our TRACON, that is total radar coverage, is it working the way it's supposed to work so as to prevent air attack? I don't know whether you understand. Do we have capacious staff controlling the airspace through the control tower, through NAMA? Who are the people that are also watching our airports to ensure that they conform to international best practices?
Well,
in NCAA.
For that, Nigeria has gotten international certification over
Listen,
the years.
international certification, just as we are saying that our country also is secure, international community are saying yes, there is security. Are we secured? You see, when it comes to all those international certification, and we are having it, but back home, we are having infractions. How do we balance that?
In aviation has been exceptional. If we have to put it straight.
The context of this discussion, if I may come
in aviation is exceptional.
It is about the criminals going to abduct people in the quarters of the aviation quarters. So when we talk about all these safety regulations, when we talk, Nigeria has been reasonably
sorry, Shiji, if I may also come in.
Yeah.
When you are talking about safety at the airport and then you are looking at abduction from the quarters, have you also forgotten that it was through air that a wherever was attacked? Are you now telling me that these bandits cannot also attack airports through the air? We don't undermine them. So what we are saying is security in its total entirety. You don't look at ground attack alone. You also look at even air attack, because all these bandits they have been coming from various angles.
The point is, if we have to be fair one way or the other, although we understand the challenges of security in our country and all of that, but when it comes to attacking airplanes and all of that, we haven't seen that, and especially in Nigeria.
Should we wait till we see that?
No, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't know if they are trying. Yeah, but you wouldn't know if they are trying. For us not to have it, it's possible the security agencies are able to handle that.
Sorry, for you to have safety in the air, you have to be ahead.
That's what we're saying.
When it catches
for us not to have had that, it is possible that the security agencies are doing something about that. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
But let's leave that. Let's go to the next. The story on Daily Trust says, despite clocking 60, the Accountant General and the FRSC boss they're still in office. Overstay contradicts civil service rules. Well, there's nothing wrong, says the Labour Minister. Now, when it comes to public servants leaving office when it is either they've spent the necessary age or they spent the necessary years in office, under this administration doesn't seem to be priority necessarily. We've seen the service chiefs, we've seen also the Inspector General of Police that his has been extended by about 3 months and all of that. Shijibumi, talk to us about this.
Sometimes I just feel maybe people doze off on their seats, or they've forgotten the responsibility vested in their office. In Nigeria, we tend to rationalize inefficiencies. Somebody, okay, I was talking to my to my aunt yesterday. She just retired December at 60. So she was telling, because she was really involved with the it's not campaign now, the launch and the inoculation, immunization process, all the when they got it received
the
and
vaccines.
the vaccine. So are you still in service? She now said no, but because she has been a corporate and brand person, an event person within the industry, within the civil service, that is few people that will stay, who have a kind of experience that will stay there, because what you get a salary in a year, you can make in a day if you do events outside the ministry. But that she is content with what she, and so they brought her back in. So because I was surprised, you're supposed to be retired, why are you now involved? I'm retired, but I still have to help my country, still have to help. So she knew the date she was supposed to retire, and we have been talking about it for like a year or two. Then this person also knew the date he got into service. So you know the date that you're supposed, and I believe that in, I've never worked in the ministry, but there will be some kind of a report and memo that people get that, okay, by so time. So why do we always wait till we now get ourselves boxed in, and is now there is nothing wrong, it's not a problem? It's a problem. It's a problem. It shows
because there are rules already to this, and the wise men who put this together many years ago foresaw something.
To just say someone who can still help out, she just hand over to the next person in charge. Look at what happened in INEC. The guy knew the day his 5 years elapsed. He handed over, even though
He stepped aside,
even though we knew that maybe he was still running show by the side, but he stepped aside. There is nothing wrong in doing that if you know that you can still help, or you can still be needed, or you can still be brought back in any other capacity.
You see, there are two ways to this. Number one, perks of office. We now want some people to leave, especially at this level. They will one way or the other lobby themselves, delay one thing, do this, do that, okay? Two, there are some people there. Okay, look at that, for instance, Accountant General. People can be saying that it's because of some of these embezzlement that had happened. Look at what we were talking about, NNPC. Those are that happen in NNPC. Those kind of accounts normally passes through this office. So they might still be keeping him to be able to clean the mess that is there. So it's true. It could be. Look at what happened. Listen to this.
Dr. Kayode, we have not. There is no.
Either you like it or not, those are issues.
No, but the point there is that as much as the accounts have not been reconciled, nobody is saying that it is actually a mess situation. No one is saying that yet.
He has even explained some of the
listen to this. We all know what is happening in this country. We cannot close our eyes to some of these issues.
But many of the things we hear,
many
of them sometimes is fake news.
No, because they force themselves to just allow it to go, and they will not. Look at what Melafia was saying last week as regards containers of firearms that were brought in from Turkey, that were brought in from Iran. We are all aware of it. What has happened to it? Nothing. So some of these things too are true. But because they will just say, look at it. They will just, don't mind Nigerians. They will soon forget. We are not forgetting. We are keeping records. Somebody who had been there for a number of years, you know the person's age. There is a place called records and whatever, a ministry. They keep records. Every year, they look at months, weeks, and all that somebody is going to retire. They will have listed their names. And it's not that they do it in one day. They do it every year. So who is not telling me, look at even what happened to the service chiefs? We all know that they're supposed to have left. Why did they not leave at that time? Are you now saying because they have done your bidding, you are now giving them ministerial, ambassadorial positions?
Yeah, but all of this,
these are issues.
All of this is at the prerogative of the president. The president
but then he has to go by the rules. There are rules and regulations guiding this. Even though it's at his prerogative, he doesn't act without a controlling constitution. All right, without a controlling rules and regulations that he must follow. It's just as we are here. We are here and you are controlling this at your prerogative. But then there are timings when your director or your manager is telling you, Mike, is enough. You have to listen. So also the constitution is saying, look, let these guys go. Why are you not saying no? Because it's your prerogative. No, you are acting against the constitution that you are sworn to uphold. And it has results. It has consequences.
Yeah.
What is National Assembly doing?
All right, as we round off now, someone looking at this would say that this precedences that someday, this is laying foundation as bad precedents someday for the country, because if we are having constant, because it's not just one now, because there has been the service chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, there are several others, and so on. This could be bad precedents. Yes,
and we always learn from the negative examples. We don't learn from the positive ones. For the service chiefs, it didn't start with Mr. Buhari, so he learned very well from, and even learned worse than, because the extension before, I don't think was close to what he gave those guys that left. So, for the Accountant General and the FIRC box, I don't see any importance. You can still explain security. But I don't know the explanation to this. Okay, if you can still, like Dr. Daya was saying, if you can still explain the Accountant General, what about the FIRC? So there are some, it just shows laxity. It just shows unpreparedness. That's it. It's incompetence in high public offices. So because we should, and the National Assembly, like he said, that's where they're supposed to be called in. See,
they should have that oversight, the oversight over this.
Even the committee in charge of that MD, in charge of that office, should have been able to speak out before now. This thing is going to happen because what are they overseeing? Oh! So this thing is going to happen in the next 3 months. What is the plan?
Yeah.
So when everybody does what they're supposed to do, everything will flow very well. But we just think we can all the time sweep these things under the carpet.
The Nigerian factor. All right, we have to leave it here now. Thank you very much, Ijibumi Adebi Bennett, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Daya Kennedy, for coming as well.
My pleasure.
Really interesting. Good to see you both. Right.